Have you ever thought about a career filled with imagination, challenges, and excitement? Well, then you might consider pursuing a path in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. Maybe you want to be a corrosion engineer. I'm here to introduce you to this world of opportunity, a world where rust and corrosion is the villain, and you get the opportunity to be the hero.
Why did you choose to study corrosion engineering?
There are so many opportunities available to the students who are studying corrosion engineering, and that was very attractive to me. So partway through my career one day, if I decide that I no longer like working in my field, I have many, many opportunities to move into other areas. So corrosion just doesn't affect one field. It affects all the engineering fields, from mechanical to civil, electrical, chemical engineering. I could move from an industry like petroleum into biomedical very easily. And it's a great opportunity.
Corrosion engineering is very competitive to all engineering career fields. It carries a great deal of responsibility, and the salary ranges of corrosion engineers are equivalent to those of mechanical engineers, civil engineers, and electrical engineers. Within the job, I've traveled extensively. The field of corrosion engineering allows you to go and see the products firsthand, which requires you to go to the sites where they're located.
I came over to work with the Corrosion Research Lab because there was an opening available. And once I started doing it, I like it so much that I am still here after 25 years.
I decided to major in corrosion engineering because of the dynamic work environment as well as the demand for the major.
How do you feel corrosion engineering serves the country?
In considering the total focus of systems engineering, this subset that we're about to talk about in corrosion control engineering permeates all of the product lines that you can think of that really impact transportation, construction, and therefore is a field of endeavor that really has merit, and it has legs, it has longevity. It has a focus as well. Because we are going through right now a budget cycle and a budget crisis, we have an infrastructure across America that is absolutely desperate for improvement. And part of that improvement is going to be, how long does the new one last? I mean, how do you convince voters to vote for infrastructure projects when they think these things have got to last 100 years? So why don't they? And I think that's where the effect of corrosion engineering can really take hold. And it's really one of the contributions that corrosion engineers can really make to America. We're already seeing it, by the way, in trains and trucks. But here comes New York, and we get all of a sudden a flood into the subway system. And they have to go down, and now they are replacing track. So the question is, should we replace that track with corrosion protection steel? The answer, yes. Why? Because if it happened once, it is far likely to happen again. So the impact of corrosion engineering is now being felt throughout our civil society. Although it started in DOD, I'm excited to see us pursue a federal acquisition requirement. And I'm excited to see if that permeates down into state regulations for bridges or roads or the New York subway system that we talked about, or any other subway system, by the way, that is in effect in many of our cities across America.
What I do in corrosion continues to do that on a much larger scale than when I was flying fighters, for instance. It's a big job, and it covers everything. I really wanted to make a difference. This is the place I found to do it.
Where has corrosion engineering taken you throughout the world?
Corrosion's taken me in a lot of places around the world. I've been to Europe, Germany, I've been to England and Scotland, been to South America a couple of times, and of course in Asia with Okinawa, Japan, the Philippines, Hawaii, Guam, and Alaska. Of course, corrosion's everywhere, so there's a number of places you can travel to when you work in corrosion.
Some of the places that corrosion has been able to take me are many. I can describe that I've been from the tundra environment to the desert to the jungles. So I've been in the Brazil jungles, I've been in the Mexican jungles, and I've been in Alaska tundra. So I've been all over the place just by the fact that you are gonna be able to solve a problem. So it's very interesting to see not only, of course, the corrosion phenomena, but how the environment itself, it's surrounded by pieces that not only, again, corrosion gives you the insight of what you have to solve, but all the environment gives you a lot of information. So to travel, to know people, to experience the environment, to see the material, how it's degrading is very nice. If you go to the tundra, so you have to use a special suit. If you go to the jungle, you have to use snake covering boots. So if you go to the desert, you have to be able to bring a lot of water with you, but at the same time, water is gonna cause corrosion. So you think from the trip that you are taking by plane, by ship, by helicopter, by walking, so you think in every single parameter that helps you to solve the problem, and the people that surrounds all that environment helps you a lot and educates you a lot. So that's one of, again, the big, not achievement, but a lot of fun when you are doing corrosion.
What advice do you have for a student wanting to get into this career field?
A student considering a career in the corrosion field will do very well with a degree in chemistry, material science, or even physics. However, I would recommend that they consider programs like the new program at the University of Akron that is specific for corrosion training. And I would strongly recommend an internship in a place where they work in corrosion, such as the Kennedy Space Center. I have had the opportunity to mentor many students who come here during the summer and discovered that corrosion is a very interesting area to get into and to work.
What students can expect to do as a corrosion engineer is not only work on their own projects, working with materials, preserving materials, coming up with new materials, but they can also expect to work with many people from many different disciplines. And that's really where the excitement is. You have to be able to talk with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, business folks, marketing folks, and be able to talk all of those different languages at the same time. And so what we tell our students and what is true for many of our professionals is that the potential for them to succeed and to excel with the company that they work for is tremendous.
What is a typical day in your field?
A typical day in our facility is I go out into the production area. I have the ability to inspect and interact with maintainers who repair military aircraft, find out any issues that they have currently with the processes that they perform. We then go into the laboratory to design experiments to identify corrective procedures, and then we author and implement those procedures and establish firm requirements. So as an engineer, the workforce responds back to the requirements that we set.
A typical day on my job could be going to a lab, for instance, start out in the morning, go into a laboratory where we're going to do some experiments on new types of coatings or protection techniques that we might have for materials. Might end up going and grabbing a non-destructive inspection piece of equipment to go do some NDI to see what's under the skin of that airplane or that ship. And is it corroding down in there or isn't it? And let's say we do find it. Figuring out what are we going to do about that? Is it something that we have in our toolkit today? Or do I have to work on developing something new to try and prevent that or to fix it? Then maybe in the afternoon, I'll get a chance to go to a classroom and talk to students that are trying to learn how to do the kind of thing I do. Some that want to be scientists, some that want to be a metallurgist or a coating specialist. I'll be talking to them about what it's like to do the job, or actually instructing them on the job. And what are some of the physics behind what we do, and what's some of the chemistry that supports what we do. So a typical day could be a number of different things that I do, but that kind of gives you an idea of what I do.
What is the best part of your job?
It is very difficult to choose one single thing as the best part of my job. I can think of many, but perhaps the best is just being part of NASA and being here at the Kennedy Space Center. This is probably the most exciting place where I could be. And I also work with a wonderful team of people that are very creative, and that intellectual interaction is something that is fascinating to me.
So the part I like best about my job is working with students. I worked in a government lab for about 16 years before coming to Akron, and had a little bit of an opportunity to work with students in that position. And I think that's what motivated me to look for a faculty position, and that's what I like best about my position at the University of Akron, working with undergraduate and graduate students in the lab and helping them succeed.
My job right now is more along the lines of organizing and planning research activities, but what I really enjoy is mentoring students and working with the researchers that are in the lab. They're doing the research and doing discovery and developing new technologies to address corrosion. So that's really what I enjoy.